Let's go to Lauren in Gainesville, Florida. What's up, Lauren?
Hey,
How we doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So what's up?
So I kind of wrote down just the gist of it. So I am a special education teacher and have been at my current school for about 3 years now. I love my classroom, my students. I love working with the other adults in my classroom. However, about a month ago, I had to report 2 of my coworkers to my administration as well as DCF for things that I saw and heard them do towards a child who is nonverbal and autistic.
What'd they do?
I know I did. I don't know how much I can really say, but it was just something out at the playground, and it dealt with a potential video of a student showing some private parts. I didn't know if there was a video, and so that's why I kind of had to report it. But also I heard some things about some retaliation of why that student was so upset in the first place by a different teacher. And then my principal was actually the one to tell me to report it to DCF.
Cool.
There wasn't an investigation with DCF, but the school did an investigation, and then they basically just returned back to school about 3 or 4 days after the incident.
So was the finding that you thought that something really bad had happened? Turns out something really bad didn't happen. No harm, no foul. Or did the school find things and sweep it under the rug?
I don't know. I never knew anything about what the investigation, resulted in.
Sometimes, depending on, and again, I don't know your state, and I don't know whether you're in a union and all that kind of stuff, but often the complainant has a written response that comes to them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if you, and I know this is especially in assault investigations, if you complained about something, you made a complaint. I say complaining like you're whining, not like that, but you made a complaint that somebody sexually assaulted you or had inappropriate contact with you. You would get, after a certain amount of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you would get a written report of the findings.
Even from like the school district?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that applies in Florida. I don't know if that applies in your particular district, especially to a report like this. Why didn't the school district, why didn't, it's CPS from Texas. What's it called there?
DCF.
DCF. Well, why did they not do any sort of investigation?
They just kind of send an email after saying that there wasn't enough to go about it.
Okay.
To look further into it.
Okay.
Based on what I was telling them.
Okay, cool. So I'm guessing you're a pariah now?
Yes. Yes. And that's basically my question. Because, I know I did the right thing. Everyone has told me that. I did what my administration told me to do. But not just from the 2 people, but my whole kind of special education preschool team pretty much will either tell me that I did the wrong thing, or when I say hi to them in the hallways, they just stare at me and ignore me. Yeah. My actual paraprofessionals in my classroom, they are on my side, if you will. And so we're just kind of in our own little classroom, and the other couple of classrooms, they do their holiday party without us. They kind of just stay on their side. So it's kind of getting a little lonely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a bit awkward.
Yeah. Because you're the snitch now, Lauren.
Yes.
Jeez Louise. Okay, so here's a perfect world. A perfect world is you see something like that. And in your mind, a couple of teachers are taking advantage, sexually explicit videos of a student with special needs, any student. And they're laughing about it. They're making jokes about it. And you immediately flip your lid, as you should, as any adult with a pulse should. And you report that. Your principal tells you to report it. They come back, and it turns out the whole thing was a misunderstanding. In no way was what you thought was happening actually happening. Then those
Mhm.
adults come to you and they're like, "Hey, what happened? Why'd you report us?" And you say, "Man, because of this and this." And they're like, "Oh, geez, I totally get it. Thank God you care this much about students, young people, children.
Mhm.
And that's not what happened at all. In the future, just holler at us, dude, and we'll be the first to tell you." And there would be some sort of we talked about on the show probably about a year ago. There was a dad who was walking out of like a TJ Maxx or something, and his little
Oh
child
yeah.
was throwing a temper tantrum, right? And then the guy walking in stopped, and the dad said, "Thank God somebody stopped. Even though my kid's throwing a
Mhm.
temper tantrum, I'm just getting out of the store. I'm glad that somebody cared enough to stop." That's what I hope. That's the way I hope adults act.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And if I didn't do anything wrong, I shouldn't care about an investigation. Why would I care about that? I didn't do anything. So that's how I would hope it works in a perfect world. We don't live in
Yeah.
that world. We live in a world where I told my son the other day, who's in 7th grade, he's like, "I can't wait till middle school's over." And I was like, I got to break some bad news to you, brother. This is the rest of your life. When people will be like, "Oh my gosh, what are you wearing? Why are you wearing this? Is that how you cut your hair? Oh my gosh, is it?" That's gonna be the rest of your life. And so you've heard me say, not by your hand, but in your lap. You were minding your
Mhm.
business at work, and all of a sudden you saw something that was the core epitome of evil. You reported it. You did the right thing. You didn't do anything about it. I mean, you didn't cause any of this, but it landed in your lap. You responded to it. Phew. And now you have to own the consequences of having done the right thing, which often are miserable,
Yes.
right? And so it sounds like the choices you have before you are to go to another school or
Mhm.
to make peace with, I did the right thing. And at the end of the day, my integrity wins out. And over a long enough period of time, people will make their way back to somebody who is of character.
Yeah. So that's basically my question.
You tell me. I can't
Is-
tell you to quit your job.
I
But
know.
but you said the L word. You said you're lonely, and I hate that word. And part of me doesn't want to see somebody like a group of immature bullies win
Mhm.
by you leaving. The other side of it is, I don't want you to have an already more miserable life than you got right now for doing the right thing, for trying to love and care for kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's the old saying, Jay-Z, like, just brush your shoulders off, dude. Or, Jesus, like, dust your sandals off, like, I'm out. There's a part of me that's just like,
Mhm.
I'm out. Like, if this is how it's going to be, man, for me doing the right thing, then God bless y'all. Have fun. And I'm just not going to think a second thing of it. What's magic about this place that you don't want to leave? Or is it just the principle of the thing?
No, it's mostly just the people in my classroom. So I have like 4 adults who help me, and they all have basically told me that they want to stay in my classroom for next year, that they don't want to go to these other classrooms,
But
because
they
of some things,
probably
and
have
especially.
little to no influence over that.
Well, that's where our principal is actually pretty cool. Like, we do put forth what we kind of want, and she usually tries to keep it how we kind of request it to her. We kind of do have some say over what students we have in our classrooms and what adults.
Have you gone to talk to your teacher, your principal, and asked to say, "Hey, man, things are really awful"? Is there, I don't know if they've got any ideas or they can bring people together or go for a retreat or some way to heal some of this. But it may just be adults acting like adults and it's just hard. Adults acting like children,
Yeah.
it's just hard.
Yeah, they had. I had brought it up kind of within the first couple of days because it was a lot worse.
Mhm.
People were a lot more obvious, and some names were being called.
Yeah.
And so they had brought in and kind of talked about it. Since then, it's more of a professional ignoring, if you will.
They put it on you, like you be the grown up and just going about your day.
Yeah, kind of.
Listen,
they'll
there's
ask
something to be
how it's
said for
going.
that. There's something to be said for it, dude. I'm going to come here and love these students, take care. I got a core group of professionals that work with me that we're a great team. I'm going to love these kids, and I'm going to go home, man. Some of that is shifting your expectations on what the workplace is supposed to provide to you. I'm going to get my friendships and my community and my connections outside of here. I also know the reality for a special ed teacher. I taught in a co-taught classroom for a couple of years. There's multiple adults in that classroom. You have to rely on the community outside. You're there at 7 a.m. You leave at 7 p.m. You're there all day, right? That's your world, man. And it's no good when you can't walk down the hall and say hi and people just go like we're on Mean Girls Part 2 or something like that. So I can't tell you because I don't live in your situation, and I wouldn't tell you whether you quit or not. I don't see it as a failure. I don't see it as a moral. You're somehow less of character if you leave. That's you just saying, I want to have a better life. I did the right thing. Y'all can be immature. I want to have a better life. And good special ed teachers are so hard to come by. You will have another job before you can blink. I also don't have any problem with you trying to crest above it. I'm going to continue to be nice and smile and wave. And if y'all want to continue to give me the silent treatment like we're in 6th grade, then you're welcome. You're welcome to burden yourselves with that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to love kids, be a great professional, be a great colleague. And if I see something else that I think is abusive, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to do it every single time. So, sorry you're in this pickle, man. It's no fun, but I'm really proud of you for doing the hard thing, following your gut, even though it may not, it ended up, there was nothing actionable here. What you thought was happening wasn't happening. I still applaud your bravery for seeing something and saying something. All of us could do that a little bit more. Thank you so much for the call.